Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to lesson 3 of how to program in C++. Today we're going to be expanding upon yesterday's program, kind of, although we'll be rewriting it, so don't worry about going back and trying to find that program that you saved ages ago. I'll tell you when you have to start saving them and going back to them. But for now, let's open up code blocks. What we're going to be learning is, first thing is user input. And then we're going to learn about a new data type. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and try and make a cool program out of all this information, what we are learning. Super cool. So let's create a new project and console application just as usual. Yes, C++. And we'll call it, I guess I'll just call it user input. Call it what you will, as I always say. So, yep, standard stuff. Cool. And, yeah, let's get started. So, sources main CPP, delete all this as usual, and I guess I'll type out the little template. You can follow along as I do. So, include and IOStream. And then using namespace std, and then we're gonna jump into our int main. Double brackets, curly brace brackets, and there we'll put return 0, and we're ready to go. So yeah, let's get started with user input, I guess. So we'll make some variables to store first. So let's remake our yesterday's kind of int width, and we're gonna int height. So two different numbers, one for height width and one for height, two different variables I should say, 4 numbers. And let's get started with our main code, which the first thing I'm gonna show you, well actually let's first make a message like cout, pointing inwards to cout, and then parentheses, and then we'll ask the question, what is the width? In fact, no. Enter the width. And then we will put just a semicolon. I'm not going to put n line because I want this to be on the same line. Now our second function that we're going to learn is cin. Can you see the pattern here? Cout, cin. And this time we're going to be pointing the opposite direction. So 2 right-facing pointy bracket thingies, and then we're going to point those into our variable. So width. And that's how that goes. So basically what this does is asks you to enter the width, and then it takes whatever you enter and puts it into width, the variable width. With me so far? In fact, let's, I forgot my comments at the start again. I'm so unorganized. I hope you guys are okay with unorganized style tutorials, but, so user, in fact, well, this is gonna be working out the area. And then we'll call it by Jules. Freaking sweet. So let's add a comment to the end of these actually, or maybe before them. That makes more sense. Initialize variables. So this is initializing our 2 variables, and then take in user input. So that will do for that comment. I'm just trying to give you examples of where comments are useful, and you should really comment everything so you don't get lost later on. I know it seems a bit stupid right now. You're like, but I know what this means. I don't need to enter in a freaking comment. But there may come a time where you're trying to just scan through your program, and it's a lot easier to read the real language fast than it is to read through code fast. Well, most of the time. But yeah, that's just what I'm trying to get you to do here. So let's do the same thing again. Cout, and this time enter the height. And then colon, space, and then semicolon. And then again, cin, pointing outwards to our variable, height. So now we have both our width and our height going into the width and height variables. So let's try and do something with them. So cout, and this is going to display the text. The area is, and colon, and then space, and then inward pointing arrows, and then width times height. And then we'll just, whoops. In fact, we'll add a new line after both of these, or yeah, so new line, and then I'm gonna want to put a new line there. In fact, 2 new lines, and yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. And then once it's displayed the width and height, end line, I guess. So end L, and that should be our program. So awesome. Let's try it out. Enter the width. Okay, fine, sir. I will enter in the width. The width is 76, and the height is 46. Wow, that's the area. Freaking sweet. Wow, we've made a program. So awesome. That's like the first useful program that we've made so far. Again, if you want to be able to show people this program, you're going to have to enter in the whole system pause thing, which you can find in the first tutorial. But enough of that now. We're going to move on to different data types, I guess. Well, one other data type anyway that I'm going to give you, which is a float. In fact, I'm going to give you 2. You get floats, so let's make a float called decibel. Number. I don't know. Okay, number is fine. Number 1 even. And then let's make another one called double. And then number 2. So basically what a float is it's a number with a decimal point. And a double is almost exactly the same thing, except it's much more accurate. Now, most of the time nowadays, you're better off using a double because of how powerful processors are nowadays. Floats take barely like less than doubles. If you're really struggling for processing power, which I don't know why you would be, you should use a float. But otherwise, you should be fine with a double. So let's set these to something. So number 1 is equal to, oops, wow, put a space. Number 1 is equal to 80.456, sorry. And then let's set number 2 equal to 90.234. And then just to show off actually what would happen if you used an int, let's go put int in, and then number 3. These aren't very good variable names, by the way, but there's not much to use when I'm demonstrating them. Number 3 equals 10 point blah blah blah. So, oh, I did 234 as well again. But let's display these now. So cout. I'm really tempted to copy and paste, but right now I really want to type everything out for you guys because you should be typing everything out to start with. Although it seems tedious and you're like, hey, I could just copy and paste it. Why don't I just do that? It's much more important that you learn to like the stuff off by heart than having to reference it all the time. That didn't make much sense, that sentence, but I hope you get what I mean. Anyway, so new line, I guess. Whoops. Keep pressing that. New line. Well, actually, we've already put a new line, so there's not much point. Number 1 is equal to. In fact, I am actually going to copy and paste here. But number 1 is equal to, and then inward pointing, like bracket things, pointy brackets, and then whoops, no parentheses. Number 1. Okay, so in fact let's add end line as well. End line. Cool. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. You should really type this out as I say so you know it off by heart, but if you're really lazy like I am, it's fine. So change these to 2, so number 2 and number 2 is equal to, and number 3 is equal to number 3. So this will basically display all these 3 variables that we've made. So let's try it. Build and run. Oh wait, first we have to go through our standard program stuff. And there we go. So 80.456 has displayed as 80.456, and 90.234 has displayed as 90.234. However, 10.234, sorry, has displayed as 10. So it's just cut off the end. But hey, what if it's larger? What if it's 10.6? Closer to 11. Let's try that. Oh god. It's still 10. Now the reason why it's still 10 is because if you set an integer to a number with a decimal point in it, it will just cut off everything after the decimal point. In fact, it will cut off the decimal point as well, but you know what I mean. So that is just basically telling the program that it's 10. Now this is actually fairly useful to, well, for my usage anyway. I use this occasionally to chop off decimal points because it's good when you want to make grids in games and stuff, but I'll talk about that another time. So for right now, that is everything I'm going to teach you this lesson. Next lesson we will do some more crazy shiz. I'll work out something for you guys. Well, I'll figure it out when I get there. So thanks for watching, and yeah, come back for another one real soon, tomorrow, probably.